Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Sorry. We will start off with a good news report.
Good evening. I don't know if you guys feel it, but I know our team certainly does. The end of another amazing school year is closing in on us, and what we consider to be fast-paced seems like it's getting a little faster after Mother's Day and as we head toward Memorial Day and the finish line. So we're grateful for one more opportunity before our students and staff leave for summer mode to feature a very successful program in the Sioux Falls School District. Tonight we have Kimmy Martin, the ag teacher from the CTE Academy, along with advisor of the FFA club there, along with two of our students, Izzy Huffman and Summer Schmaltz from Lincoln High School. And Kimmy's going to share a little bit about what the ag students, the FFA students have been up to this year. And although it's not quite lions and tigers and bears, oh my, you will see pigs and chickens and kittens, along with some plants for sure. So with that, I'll give it over to Kimmy and she can take it away.
Awesome, thank you. Good evening. My name is Kimmy Martin. I am proud to serve as the agriculture teacher, FFA advisor at the CTE Academy. I'm joined tonight by two amazing students, Summer Schmaltz, a junior at Lincoln High School, and Izzy Huffman, a sophomore at Lincoln High School, both of whom represent the passion and potential of our growing program. We're excited to be here and share some of the highlights from our unforgettable year. I'm incredibly grateful to have had a voice in the planning process for our new addition. This space is a major upgrade from what we currently have, and it will help us better serve our students and the broader Sioux Falls community. I'm very excited for it to be complete. This year has truly been one for the books. Our FFA chapter hit its highest numbers of active members ever. We went on 9 field trips, hosted 10 guest speakers, and even had 9 pigs born right in our lab. We found forever homes for 1 cat and 5 kittens, one of which was my house. On top of that, we went to 12 FFA events, 3 individuals competed at the State Leadership Development Conference, 2 teams and 3 individuals competed at the State FFA Convention, 2 students earned their State FFA degrees, 1 student was named a State Star finalist, and all of that was from my classroom. It has been an incredible year, and I couldn't be more proud of how far we've come. And while I'm up here, I want to thank our department sponsor, CHS. We could not do what we do in our classroom without them. They're a massive part of the success of our program. And to show a little bit of what we do and how we do all of it with the help of CHS, there's a short video presentation. So feel free to ask questions as they arise while it plays, and feel free to ask questions of my students as well. So thank you so much for having us.
How many students are involved in the program, FFA?
As of right now, our roster for FFA is 18, but all students are allowed in the program, but we have more students in the agricultural education program.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I was really excited when we started with this program, and I'm super excited about the growth that it's had. And I just think of all of the skills, not even just like the ag skills, but the speaking and the confidence that it builds, while also getting kids even more opportunities in what they're passionate and interested in. And many people might think Sioux Falls is like, we're a city, like why would we have an FFA? But we're in a very rural area, and we need ag bankers, and we need all sorts of different kinds of people and careers. And even if they don't choose something like that, the skills that are gained will be very helpful and help them along the way with whatever that career is. So I'm excited to see where it goes. And I love that we're going to get bigger animals and, just more experiences. And I think that there's still a lot of people who don't know that this even exists in Sioux Falls. And so once we get the word out even more and more, I think that 18 number will be a small number in the past very soon, as people drive by and see the large structure, and as more people graduate and tell their friends about it. And I just think it's good all around for students and for our community as well.
You have a couple guests with you.
Yeah.
Could you introduce your guest, please?
Yeah, so closest to me is Izzy Huffman. She's a sophomore from Lincoln, and next is Summer Schmaltz, a junior from Lincoln.
Do you guys have anything?
Yes, and Rick Huffman, Izzy's dad.
Do the students have anything they want to add about your experiences?
I think the egg program in general and FFA was a really good way to meet new people. It definitely got me out of school to meet new people and network with people I wouldn't have had the chance otherwise. You get to go to these events with people from all over the state and kids that have stuff in common with me and kids that don't. And like you said, we're from Sioux Falls, which isn't super rural, but I got to meet kids and talk to them about things that I wouldn't get to see in my city. So it was a really good experience, and I really enjoyed. And I'm really happy with everything that Martin has done for us. She does a lot for us kids, and I think that it's just been a really good experience.
Awesome, thank you.
FFA has really brought me out of my shell, especially Miss Martin. She's really brought me out of my shell. And before, I was very shy and didn't know how to speak in front of people. But getting to come into FFA and learn about opportunities I had and go into the LDE of prepared public speaking, I've got to speak in front of people and become more confident in speaking in front of people.
Very nice. Nice.
So last week, I had the opportunity to take a group of retired teachers out to CTE for a tour, and Mr. Reiswick served as our tour guide and did a wonderful job. But one of the things they commented about once we returned was the ag classes and having an FFA program. And so especially someone who was an administrator in the Rapid City School District, so the next day, I printed off some news stories about our new addition and the barn, and, I wouldn't say I was rubbing it in, but I was rubbing it in. But yes, we have these fantastic opportunities, and we're going to have incredible facilities as our programs grow. And they were very jealous and kept saying, why don't we have this?
And they should.
So thank you. I know you have been here. Is this your first or second year?
My second year.
Second year, that's what I was thinking. So starting a new program is a lot. And so I think you should be very proud of yourself too for all the things that you have accomplished, not just the awards, but even having students who, can complement the work that you do and the meaning that you have in their education. So thank you for joining the Sioux Falls School District and for the changes that you've brought and the new things that you've implemented. And it'll be exciting to see what happens as we continue to grow the program.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks.
And you don't have to stay. Yeah, or you can. All right. Moving on, can I get a motion and a second for approval of the minutes held on April 28th, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Those minutes are approved. We have nobody tonight to address us. Can I get a motion and a second for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The agenda is approved. We have no conflicts this evening. Can I get a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda? A through E, please.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion or any?
Yes, I'd like some discussion. On item E, 9E, Ms. Dorman, can I ask you a couple questions? When I looked at the resignations for May, I thought it was kind of a large number, and so I was a little concerned. Can you put my mind at ease that this is a normal number for May and that you won't have any trouble filling some of those teaching positions?
Sure, I could discuss that. Actually, I was just discussing with the senior leadership team that our numbers were a little bit lower, actually, for resignations right now. And contracts just went out, so teachers will have 15 days from the time they get their contract to sign or not sign. So there could be some more resignations coming as people make decisions for their futures, but I was very pleasantly surprised, I guess, with the number that I saw. So yes, I'm confident that we will have the best people possible in front of our kids come August.
I have no doubt that you'll get those folks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so I had a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That is passed. And then I have the supplemental consent agenda, 10A. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes with one abstention from myself. And then we have a report from the superintendent.
So we have just an update tonight. As you remember, the committee, Dr. Nold, and all of us really have kind of collectively reviewed the cell phone recommendations for next year. And we have just one additional change that is going to be recommended to the board for your acknowledgement. So I'll turn it over to you.
If I could have a moment of self-indulgence. FFA, both Dr. Zeke and I were involved in FFA through high school as well. And so I shared that with the ladies out front, that we were both involved in the FFA chapters that are.
Your jacket still fit?
I still have my jacket. I was going to wear it tonight. It's a little large for me. No, it does not fit very well. But we were both going to wear it when we go out to the building site out there. I can stand it for a couple minutes and I have to take it off because it's hard to breathe. So anyway, back to the purpose of the report for tonight. It was not intended to be about me and FFA. The purpose of tonight's report is to truly go through and just provide an update to the board on the cell phone use by students in this board report. And the purpose of the report, as I had stated, is just to share with the school board our updated expectations of the cell phone used by students while on school grounds. This is a priority area that impacted 3 different areas: our community engagement, because we did have a committee that came together to discuss this and sought input from our community through surveys that went out. And as was stated, we had over 12,000 individuals respond to that. It also hits in the area of well-being, as we are concerned with the student well-being and the use of cell phones and some of the different issues that may bring about, and the academic achievement, because when it's used in the classroom settings, it may distract from that. So really the explanation of this is just update as a reminder. We had met April 2nd to go through this in a cell phone committee report that we had shared with you during the work session at that time, and just reminded you that there's 36 individuals that participated in this committee that included both parents, students from the middle school and high school, teachers, principals, and district administration. And upon further review, we're updating the guidance, and we've revised that to make one additional change for our recommendation for the 25-26 school year. And so as you go through this with the recommendations, I'll just highlight those again. With our elementary, it truly did not change. The elementary expectation is the same as it's been, and it will stay that it is expected that cell phones not be used during the school day. So from the start of the bell to academic bell to the end of the academic day, they would not be used. The one thing that we did put in there as a clarification is on the buses, that it was discouraged, but not a disciplinary action unless it was used inappropriately. Then it would be reported and taken care of in that manner. So that did not change from the work session report that I had provided to you. In the middle schools, again, that stays the same. It will go from the beginning of the academic day to the end of the academic day again, and so that remains the same. The area that there was a change or a recommended change here that we're going to go through and implement is with the high school expectations. The cell phones cannot be used during the class period, which we had that prior, and cannot be used in the academic hallways during the school day. The cell phones can be used during the school day in the lunchroom during a student's lunch period. So as I highlighted there on the bottom, the change for high school is eliminating the use of cell phones in the academic hallways during the day, from the start of the bell to the end of the bell of the school day. And so very briefly here, just in summary, again, it stayed the same with the middle school and elementary, where they will not be allowed to be used during the academic day. And then the high school, the change there, students will be able to use their cell phones while in the lunchroom during their lunch period, but not in the academic classrooms or hallways. And again, highlighting that the hallways is the addition to that piece. And so the administrative recommendation is just to acknowledge the update to the student cell phone use expectations for the 25-26 school year. And I'd stand by to answer any questions at this time for you.
Sure. So when you did bring this back to us last time, I think a few of us made comments at that time, and then kind of onesie-twosie, we had talked to each other to say, what do you think? Like, how do you feel about that? And so at that time, we had asked administration to go back and just say, can we look at this again? And I think there's a couple things that I just want to point out is that if you look at nationally, there's a lot of school districts and a lot of states that are legislating cell phone bans, if you will. And I think it's important for many reasons, but for us to maintain local control of being able to make those decisions for what we know is best for our district. And so this step, I think, is a good step in clarifying that. I also think that we all understand the issue of enforcement for teachers during the day. And in my mind, I was thinking, gosh, every 50 minutes, teachers are going to have to be reminding students because they had their phone out for 7 minutes or whatever it is. And it still felt like a distraction to the day. And so I think that was one of the reasons why we had kind of talked about, like, can we go back and look at this and see how we can make this better and make this, again, for the well-being of our staff and students. And so I appreciate that you had done that and talked with people to make that happen. So does anybody else have any questions, comments?
I'd like to thank you, Dr. Knoll, for going back to the high school principals and talking to the folks about this, because I think it is something, as Carly mentioned, that some of us had a little heartburn with, and I think she made a very good point about having the teachers be, you know, the hallway police and the everything police, and so now I think it'll hopefully be a little more, it'll be easier, because it'll be no phones until lunchtime. But I just also want to say that, you know, policies are only as good as how they are enforced and how they are worked through. And so I would hope that everybody would find this a workable policy. And if there are questions and issues and problems, I hope you would bring it back. If it's working well, I'd hope you'd bring it back and let us know. So I'm kind of wondering if we could have some kind of a midterm, you know, middle of the year report back to how it is working in the schools, because we need all of our schools to be on the same page with this. Because if one school is slack and the other school is not, it's just not a good policy. Then we've got to figure out about the enforcement of it. But I really do appreciate the extra effort in going back and talking with folks, and I'm fully on board with this compromise, so I thank you very much for your extra work.
And in conversation with the building principals, they feel absolutely the key piece is communication out. And that's something they're going to make sure that they include in their handbooks, but more so even in the communication that goes out to the parents. Because making sure that they're informed so that they can help at home to reinforce that expectation is a critical piece. And so we've kind of already started to make those plans for how we're going to get that communicated out. So that'll help immensely, and they're on board with that.
Dr. Knoll, just a reminder too that parents know if there's or parents or family members, if there's an emergent situation, they can always contact the office of each building and get that important information to their student.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's by far the best way. You bring up a great point there that we've often talked with parents. If there's an emergency, we don't want it to come across on a cell phone in a classroom. The best thing is to have somebody go up there and talk with that student outside of the classroom and help in any way. Or even if it's just general communication, we make sure we have ways to be able to get that to them.
Well, parents would be able to email their students, correct?
Yes, they still can do that.
So they can still do that.
Yeah, each one of them will have a Chromebook that they can utilize in that capacity. So thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to acknowledge the report?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is acknowledged. Before we adjourn, I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow is the school board election. Some of us are sporting our I voted today sticker because we went and voted absentee. That obviously is not an option anymore, but you have, I think it was 13 different polling places available. And so they're voting centers. Go to whichever one is the most convenient to you. The most important thing is that we vote. I was kind of sad when I went to the courthouse today because I went this morning and I was number 170. Which when I am the outgoing board member, and when I think about my last 12 years and the importance of the work that we do as a board, it really makes me sad to have the level of, I'll just call it disengagement from voters in regards to this election. And so if you, I would highly encourage everybody between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. tomorrow to go and cast your vote. There are lots of resources online, different panels, different interviews, different all sorts of stuff where you can go and learn about the candidates. But I really think as we look at what happened in Pierre this year and kind of feeling not so supported from a public education perspective, that it would really say something if people came out and voted and showed their support by doing so. And it's not going to get any easier. So the more we can engage people and the more support that we can get, the better off that we'll all be. So take a friend with you. Make sure your spouse or significant other or your 18-year-old children go and vote. But tomorrow is the day, and so we're hoping for a good turnout. So I thank you in advance for encouraging others to do the same. Yeah, and this location we're sitting at right here is an option for you to vote. So if you work here, you don't have an excuse, unless you're not in the Sioux Falls School District, then I'll let you go. But yeah, there's lots of voting centers around town, so hopefully you can find something that's convenient for you either from your work or home. So thank you. If there's nothing else, can I get a motion and a second to adjourn, please?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.